Lunaverse, Season 2, Episode 6, Graveyard Pony, Bushel of Carrots. Chapter 3, Heretic Creatures. My gosh, there's a lot of titles I have to add to these episodes! So, Raindrops quietly commented from her seat near the stairs as he looked around the underground chamber. What are you going to tell the rest of us about this ancient magical pool chamber? A nervous laugh escaped Carrot Top's lips as he rubbed the back of her head. After her friends had confronted her at the cottage over her doubles, she agreed to show them the mysterious mirror pools she had called the colds from. Now the subterranean pool and its arcane construction was being thoroughly examined by her comrades. Lyra and Charlie were poking over the four pillars, trying to deduce what classical equestrian writing had meant, while Ditzy was taking rubbings so they have a copy of the contents just in case. Trixie stood at the edge of the pool, her eyes glowing a soft blue light as she subjected the water to her magical detection spells. I don't know. Carrot shrugged helplessly, cast her gaze towards the floor. She could almost feel Raindrops' eyes back on her, depending on some kind of answer. I just feel bad when I have to choose between which ponies to help. And then Trixie, all flippantly, mentioned how Luna can be multiple ponies at the same time, and I remember my grandma's stories about this place. And then we had the proverbial bushel of Carrot Tops. Trixie finished for her, the glow fading from her eyes as she ended the spell. Carrot Top shrugged again, hanging her head slightly. I'm sorry. I didn't think you would cause so much trouble. Hey. Trixie interrupted, trying over poking her friend in the chest. Don't be so down on yourself. It was a mistake. We all make them. Take it from a pony who knows. A slight smirk crossed Carrot Top's muzzle. I suppose it was only a matter of time before I screwed up as badly as you did in the past. Please! Trixie scowled with a dismissive flavor of huff. You're still years from being able to match my screw-ups. I practically made that form. An appreciative round chuckle swept through the room. The tension that Carrot Top had felt building up in her body, draining away at Trixie's digging her own pass. Trying over to Charlie and Lyra, Carrot Top nodded and started scribbling on the pillars. I didn't like making heads or tails out of this. Well, my classical equestrian's a little rusty. Lyra nodded, pointing to the top right of the stone pillar, where the most intact portion of the writing stood clearly from the stone. But that bit of there sustains that you used to copy yourself. Any other stuff? Raindrops asked, still sitting by the stairs. Trixie, Charlie interrupted, rubbing her chin with the back of a huff. What kind of magic was the water radiating? Transmutation and conjuration, just like the clones. Though, Muzzle scrunched up in confusion. I'm getting this vague, after effect of enchantment. It's hard to pin down. Nodding to herself, the school teacher walked over to the other pillars, pointing to a series of words arranged vertically on the surface. This word period is over and over. Wato. That's classical equestrian for transform. She pointed to another pair of intact words from across the instance of Muito. And this, and Capillus, that's main. It just keeps going over. Coat color, eye color, there are even other species here. Wait, Lyra blinked. I thought that Fisiuto was classic equestrian for transform. Fisiuto is changed, Lyra. It is a common mistake to get those words mixed up. No, I think you're mistaken, Charlie. Lyra frowned, because the classical sympathy, transformation of the seasons, is Fisiuto de Tetapura. If that's a mistranslation, it should be Morito de Tempura! Goes! Carrot Top spoke, interrupting the brewing language debate, mostly in the room with a huff. That's all well and good, but what does this all mean? The ability to make copies, to share some kind of hive mind, Trixie enumerated, pacing back and forth before the pool steps. And then being able to further manipulate and tweak them from there. She paused, shaking her head slightly. It's like some pony was trying to find a way to mimic Luna's ability to be in multiple places at once. But that doesn't even make sense, Carrot Top Karen. The clowns are kind of stupid, for what you're all telling me. Even back when I had just had one, she was a little loopy. When Luna does it, nobody can tell the difference. Trixie shrugged. Some of the writings are chipped and faded away, and the magic looks wonky. Shipments of magic items can go strange with age, and not properly maintained. And this is the Everfree. This is pretty strange as is. I'm more wondering where this came from. What? Me and Luna didn't tell you about the hidden magic pool at Everfree? Raindrops commented, arching an eyebrow. Seems like the kind of thing I mentioned. Right after I melted the ice cream castle, Trixie snorted. I would have told the old me about this place. I would have wanted the two of me running around. She shrugged. Besides, for all we knew, the pool was here first, and this stuff was built later. Lyra, who had lasted in silence until the pillar argument was interrupted, perked back up at this point, nervously shuffling her hose. Actually, there is something I've been kicking around in the back of my head since we found this place. When every pony looked her way, she sighed. It's an old farm pony legend. It dates all the way back to before the unification of Equestria. I don't even remember where I first heard it, to be honest. The Beasts of the Everfree. There are a lot of beasts in Everfree, Shirley pointed out. That doesn't exactly narrow it down. This one's special, though. A self-proclaimed queen that ruled from a castle in what would be known as Everfree. Somehow always knew what was going on among her subjects, until she just up to fans one night. Legend said she returned one day. There wasn't even a poem about her. Channeling, Lara summoned her instrument to her side and began a slow, mournful tune. Beneath the leaves, wild and untamed, the depths of wood to where the beasts came, to bring the land of mystery and shame, a piece of harmony is missing. A path you should never cross, the beast exacts a heavy cost. The name of the beast is lost. You will know her by her hissing. The dark stone you cannot tame. Devour your knife for all your fame. The price to pay her twisted game. Forever you'll be missing. A slight chill ran through the room as Lyra let the song end. Sid, Carrot asked, breaking the uncomfortable silence. Is this true? Lyra shrugged. It's legend. The world is crammed to bursting with them. Tales pass from pony to pony, until you're not sure what Tartarus are talking about. And the records from the classical pony era are all spotty at best. Yes, but is this one true? Maybe, she muzzled to the pool. It does explain the legend, but I'm not expecting her to come back anytime soon. I mean, Luna and Celestia built their old castle in the Everfree, so it had to be safe. She was probably just some long-dead unicorn sorceress that used this to gain the upper hoof, and were stuck dealing with the fallout. So, what do we do then? Cheerleader injection. How long are these clones supposed to last? Carrot Top went slightly. It's something she hadn't even considered when she decided to use the pool the first time. I have no clue, Trixie shrugged. We'll just have to wait and watch for now. I'll take them back to my farm, Carrot Top nodded. I think Twilight would lose her mind if they stayed here overnight. Fireside and Rainbow Dash tried for the edge of the Everfree under the full moon. The yellow Pegasus had a cage of small brown furred critters, along with a handle in her mouth, while her polychromatic friend striding by her side, Jitsa eyes rapidly scanned the surrounding areas. Are you sure about this, Fluttershy? It's the Everfree at night. It's okay, Rainbow Dash. I need to let these little guys loose from Ponyville. Plenty of fruits and other things for them to keep and eat here in Everfree. She softly intoned, after putting the cage down. They'll keep them from gobbling at the farmer's fields. During the last, she gently poked the cage with a hoof. Alright, little guys, welcome to your new home. Four rock gophers slowly crawled out of the cage, sniffing the air as they looked about. One of Equestria's many magical creatures. They were so named for their rock-like claws, and allowed them to dig through most substances as it was loose dirt. The critters hesitated for a moment before diving into the ground in a flurry of soil, leaving the empty cage behind. There! Dash nodded. Let's get out of here. I want to head back to bed. Yeah. She finished with my yawn. Okay, Dash, we can go. An unearthly howl cut through the trees, sending chills down the spines of both ponies. It sounded close before the two Pegasi could react to the first call. A flurry of howls echoed out in response to the first. Ooh, we need to go. Rainbow Dash nervously gulped, already pushing Fluttershy back to the way they came. A flurry of sharp and angry barks meets their ears, the undergrowth seeming to come alive as sleek and lean-looking forms made their way from the wood. Wet mare closed in onto the two ponies, their glowing green eyes almost resembling giant fireflies. Fireside froze up and almost instantaneously, wings snapping close to her body. Not missing a beat, Dash grabbed her around the barrel, beating her wings as hard as he could, to put some distance between them and the attacking timber wolves. Unfortunately, carrying her friend put a dent into Rainbow Dash's chief attribute, her speed. Once she could get cleared of the marauding wooden monsters, one of the timber wolves leading the pack jumped. Dash screamed in pain as he felt fangs sink into the flesh of her right rear cannon. Pulled from the sky by the weight of the creature, Dash crashed to the ground, Fluttershy tumbling away from her. The rainbow-maned Pegasus lashed out with the other hind leg, smiling the satisfied crunch of her hoof on wood. "Fluttershy, run!" she shouted as she felt the pull her leg free. Whirling around, Rainbow Dash flared her wings to make herself look bigger, grinding her teeth against the throbbing pain in her leg. She could smell the rancid breath of the thing as it circled. Mara's fellows moving into the clearing. Her fire brain faint. She felt her stomach drop and saw how many timber wolves came into view. There's a bigger dozen of these, at least. "Okay, you overgrown mess, Fig Piles. You want some fresh pony meat? Come on, taste the rainbow!" The timber wolves left for her. Dash lashed out at her hooves. There's like punching and bucking anything as she got closer. The world turned to a chaotic explosion of movement and sound. Blurs of brown and green, a chorus of howls and barks. The scared screams of Fluttershy grew more distant as the number of timber wolves surrounded her dwindled. She found herself facing down a singular timber wolf, grating her teeth again. Dash lashed out once more, smashing her hooves against its head. As it tumbled backwards from the impact, Dash followed up, punching it again and again, the wood splintering from her assault. With one last crack, the form of the wolf collapsed into pieces. Panting, she looked around the clearing. No sign of Fluttershy or the other timber wolves, but the trample of paw and hoof prints showed that both were tending deeper into the Everfree. Swearing under her breath, Dash took a step backward towards the tracks. Another stab of pain shot through her. As her wounded hind leg buckled. "Discords, misfits, hordes!" she swore, flapping her wings into the air. Every instinct in her gut told her to chase after Fluttershy. She was wounded, and lucky that the timber wolf's bite hadn't been stabbed to the bone. Her in place, the battle between loyalty and common sense raced in her head. "Pony feathers!" she swore again, looking over and flying for Ponyville as fast as he could go. Carrotop's sweet dreams were dispelled by the sound of rapid hoofbeats on the front door. Sitting up in bed, she blinked to sleep from her eyes. Her copies were curled up on the floor around her bedroom, forming a yellow and orange carpet between her bed and bedroom door. Another round of knocks cycled through her head, this time followed by a muffled shouting. "Carrotop! Get out here! I need your help!" All six clones snapped awake at once, grins crossing their muscles as he rushed for the front of the cottage. "Wait! No!" he said. Once he got to them, he dove to open the door at once. 6 ponies reached for the doorknob. 6 ponies tripped over each other and crashed into it. With an ear-splitting crack of splintering wood, the screws holding the door hinges tore away. Applejack was forced to make an undignified scramble to avoid getting crushed by the toppling floor. The farm mare gagged at the copies of Carrot Top as the elf smiled at her once and asked the same question. "Help!" Carrot Top grinned nervously as he tried forward. "Sorry, Applejack, it's kind of a long story." Applejack looked for the copies, to the original, back to the copies, then back to Carrot Top again, before shaking her head. "Normally, I want an explanation. Considering the circumstances, I'll ask later," she commented, turning and trying for the road again. "You need to get downtown right away." "Why?" Carrot Top asked, chasing after her. Clothes followed, dancing along like it was a normal spring day. Rainbow Dash came flying into town like all monsters and Tartarus were after her. Timberwolves attacked her and Fluttershy near her cottage. She left trying to Fluttershy in the fact. She lost to the Everfree. Timberwolves are out there. A very able pony in town to save her. I'm just gonna grab my gear. "What about your traps?" Carrot Top blinked. Applejack bit her lip, tilting her sets and brimmed parts to cover her eyes. "I never stayed up traps near Fluttershy's cottage. Well, how shy she is, I'll never be able to get her to manage to tell her what parts of the forest I avoid." The guilt clearly on her features. Carrot Top smiled softly, tilting Applejack's hat up. "Well, safer. I'll protect the town, Applejack. Get your gear, meet you downtown." Carrot Top was well aware of the occasional stares that were being thrown away of her and her copies by many who had turned up to help with the search party. She couldn't really blame them. She was sure she had all questions, but for now, every pony was biting their tongues and staying focused on the task at hand. Messing around, she took stock of the ponies that had arrived. Friends were there, of course. Ditsy, Shirley were leading the folds to the town hall, having been decided it would be the safest place for them until the danger passed. Yeah, listen to Miss Twilight and Bonbon, don't leave the hall, Ditsy softly whispered to her daughter. She ushered her to her side. Not until I come get you. Mama. Dinky nodded, closing the door behind her. Trixie was talking with Pokey and Twilight Sparkle. To the right of the stairs, laying out the plan of the attack with the former, while asking Lyra to guard the town hall. Bonbon had Lyra locked into a hug on the other side, demanding the unicorn's safe return. Green Grape was acting as the impromptu leader of the farmers' union contingent. The whole of which had answered the summons, their expressions down from the news and the thought of timberwolves racing through their farms. Cloudkicker nervously stood at the head of the weather patrol, flanked by raindrops. Kicker looked about ready to pass out for the stress of the situation, but raindrops was radiating enough confidence for the two ponies. The posse was rounded out by a collection of other townsfolk. Emphasis Star stood by Barry Putz, who was hitched to a cart of small wooden casks. Pinkie Pie, who was standing with Rarity, also seemed to have brought her own supplies. Her saddlebags were bulging. The last group was a mix of concerned Ponyville citizens, including such ponies as Window Pane, Silver Script, and his sledgehammer, Gentle Persuasion, Heavy Ruler, Caramel, and a collection of workers for Sweet Apple Acres, donated by Applejack. The sound of the doors to the town hall clicking back open dragged Carrot Top's attention to it. Ditsy and Shirley tried back out, followed by Ivory Scrolls. The mayor's appearance made Carrot Top do a double take. She somehow got her hose on an antique military helmet. It, combined with her head held high, meant her message bearing. Well, it would take a great deal of restraint for Carrot Top not to snicker. The look wasn't held by the scale model of Ponyville that stood before her. She even had a collection of model ponies, most of them painted in massive coats of Ponyville citizens. The expression of Trixie's face mimicked the disbelief that Carrot Top was quite sure was on her own features. Your Honor, she asked, leaving a hoof over the miniature town. What's that? Planning, she beamed. We've had enough creatures and other Luna who knows what else in that little town, and I decided to be more prepared, she answered, mostly into the crowd. Applejack, if you'd be so kind. Applejack walked up to the stairs of town hall, lasso slung over her breast. The assembled of Ponyvillians focused all their attention on the farmer. She was the closest thing the town had an expert of creatures. Alright, everybody. As I'm sure you all heard by now, Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy were attacked by a Timberwolf pack near her cottage. Fluttershy's lost in the Everfree Forest, so we're gonna find her. Clacker's hoof shot up. What happened to Rainbow Dash? She okay? She's been taken to the hospital. Ivory Scrolls quickly answered, for treatment for the wounds she received. Is she letting herself sit behind while her friend's in danger? Raindrops answered incredulously. This is all here to me. Well... Rainbow Dash grinned goofily as her head sunk back into the pillow. Her hind leg propped up, around the bandages. She had been very angry earlier, demanding to be let loose so she could go and help some pony. But then one of the nurses had given her a shot, and everything was just awesome. Daisy. She murmured, drifting out to sleep. She'll be fine. Alright. And Applejack broke in. Right, taking control of the meeting again. We're going to do this by forward times. Yellow Bears, Farmers Union, some of my own farmhands and myself will head on and hoof. A round of acknowledgement rippled through the crowd. Ivory Scrolls sliding a bunch of pony figures towards the forest, arranging them like a general. Applejack raised an eyebrow at that but continued. The weather patrol will go by sky, with lanterns. She continued, Mary posting more pony figures into the map. All the lights that help Fluttershy see them if she's hiding a tree or something. What about my group? Red Sweater asked, leaning on his fire axe. What do you want us to do? Fire! Applejack died. Ivory Scroll placing two streamer bonfires near the Everfree. And lots of it. We'll need some big bonfires near the edge of the forest. They either get past us and tramp eyes, you'll give them a warm welcome. Now let's show those wolves why you don't mess with Ponyville! Did you have to bring your copies, Carrot Top? Lyra asked as he walked through the Everfree, shooting a few shifty glasses their way. The clowns seemed unconcerned, hopping along without a care in the world. They kind of creeped me out. They tried to come along and help anyway, Carrot Top shrugged helplessly. Better this way than if they just randomly showed up in the middle of something. I thought so. Lyra sighed. Lunaverse and Applejack, representing the biggest guns in the posse, they got straight to where Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy had been ambushed. From there, they picked up the main trail of tracks, falling deeper into the forest. Tracy kept her horn lit, providing illumination for the group as they continued on. Dizzy D's expression grew more and more agitated as they followed the trail. I hope she's a king, Mira sighed, her wings twisting. There's just so many tracks. It's a big pack for the looks of it, Carolee shrugged. Though, it looks like this one's a little active too early. I know what you mean, Applejack agreed, kneeling down to examine the tracks a little closer. Though I suppose some kind of bigger critter could have drove them towards Ponyville. Didn't y'all run the fire breaks and suns down south or something? Ugh, Raindrop sighed. Timberwolves are enough, thanks. They traveled onwards for a little while, falling into silence as they kept their ears peeled for any sounds of Fluttershy or attackers. After walking for a bit longer, the group paused as the trail reached the banks of a small stream. The tracks entered the water, but didn't seem to leave again. Pony feathers, Tracy swore, kicking the ground. They must have actually got into the stream. Right to the edge of the stream, Carrot Top observed the flow of water for a moment. I'm guessing this is one of the streams that feeds the river we crossed to reach the castle for Royal Pony Sisters. But they could have gone either way, Applejack frowned. Can't Rattler take the time to search each race, and I'm not sure we should be splitting it up when we don't know where the pack is. Agreed. Shirley nodded, rubbing her chin with a hoof. Maybe Raindrops can fly up and see if she can see anything. I could give it a try at least. The weather pony nodded, floating into the air with a beat of her wings. She disappeared above the treetops a moment later, leaving the rest of the group at the edge of the stream. Silence fell over the group as they exchanged glances. Shirley, eventually speaking to break the quiet. Lady the Everfree, while Raindrops looked around for a reference point. See, sir, a slight smile crossing her face despite the seriousness of the situation. Deja vu, any pony? History might not repeat itself. Lyra smirked idly, mostly to the forest around them, but it does have a tendency to rhyme. Applejack paced along the edge of the stream, her body full of nervous energy and tail switching in agitation. I just hope this trip ends as well as the last one did for you. What? Raindrops deadpan, falling back below the tree line. Captured by Corona, with apparently useless elements? Well, Applejack muttered, suddenly very interested in the pebble to the ground. I was more referring to what happened after it. Oh! Shirley craned and pointed the farmer's way. You want the moments of personal revelation, followed by the heroic banishment of great evil? I suppose so. Applejack nodded back. Makes for a better story than a bunch of ponies get lost in the woods. I can't agree with that. It's not bad. Tilting your head towards Raindrops. Raindrops nodded, jumping a wolf off, staring. There's a tree out the river some. I can see its branches sticking like there was a full-grown windstorm going on. As it was a very calm night, the implication was obvious. Without a word, the group charged upriver. As they drew closer to the tree, Raindrops identified. The angry growls and barks reached their ears. They slowed, coming to a sight that was both strange and terrifying. First, they taken refuge in a tree that was slightly taller than its fellows. The stream had foiled here, lazily coiling past it. Now Pegasus was cowering among the boughs of the tree, whimpering as he looked down. Her fear was well justified. The tremor was that started to strategize. They formed a pile against the base of the tree. Three of the creatures had used the pile of their fellows to climb up to the tree itself. Enlarged their bodies, sharp claws were there, allowing them to pull themselves closer to Fluttershy, almost using the branches as a lair. You've got to be kidding me, Trixie gaped. They're Timberwolves, not trained acrobats! Does it matter? Raindrops deadpan. I'll go try and grab her before they do. Glancing back at her copies, a great cross Carrot Top's muzzle. Hold on, Raindrops. Let's see if we can even out some. Fluttershy whimpered. Her eyes wide shut, the Timberwolves closed in. There were a few branches before her now. She squeezed her eyes shut, waiting for the snap of jaws to come. The explosive sound echoed through the forest, eliciting another yelp of fear from her. Only one eye, she peered out of the woods to see what had caused the riot noise. A surge of hope welled in her stomach at the sight of a familiar yellow and orange farm pony. Carrot Top was then joined by another Carrot Top, and yet another. Oh my, she gasped, looking at the four other Carrot Tops that joined the first three. This is confusing. Casting a glance at the Timberwolves, you could see they were all staring at the new arrivals, even the ones who'd been climbing after her. But better, I guess. I cannot bless! One of the Carrot Tops shouted. I settled for one scrap when there's a whole buffet over here! Buffet! Buffet! The others started bouncing in place. The Timberwolves didn't need much more encouragement. A combined howl that shook Fluttershy right down to her core. He surged away from a tree like a tidal wave of wood and leaves. Carrot Tops turned the tail and tore out towards the forest, Timberwolves following close behind. As the howls faded into the distance, Fluttershy blinked as the gray form of a mare crept to the base of the tree. Come on, Fluttershy! Diddy Doo smiled out of her. Let's get you home! The other three was a green and brown blur to Carrot Top as it whipped past her. She was galloping as fast as she could alongside her copies. She could hear the pounding of the wolves on the ground behind them. Adding a distorted rhythm to their chorus of barks and growls. Sparrow glanced to her right. She could barely make out the forms of her friends, partially illuminated by Trixie's magic, shadowing her facade procession. Making a beeline for Applejack's traps, she just hoped he'd be able to thin the numbers before they reached there. If they made it there. Naya made galloping through the Everfree even more dangerous proposition. The darkness blanketed the overthrow, hiding branches, divots, and all other manners of things that could trip a pony. With a startled yelp, one of the Double's hosts found a root that was partially exposed, crashing to her ground and tangling up one of her fellows in the process. The Timberwolves in the lead struck, pouncing upon them, just going straight for the copies' throats. Crouching down, the Timberwolves were greeted not by warm blood, but by twin explosions of water, clones popping like water balloons. Carrot Top winced, not daring to stop as the other Timberwolves followed them, continuing the chase. Then Trixie struck. Even for the undergrowth of her horn blazing, face scrunched up in determination. The elusiveness dropped in a blinding rush of light, sound, magically constructed fireworks right in the middle of the pack. Some of the Timberwolves reeled, instinctively pulling back from the fire, isolating them from the rest of their fellows. The others heedlessly pounding on the Carrot Top. To get fast of the chaos, Charlie and Raindrops threw themselves to the group left behind. Drops raced out with a buck. Her tremendous strength came in the side of a wolf like it was made of straw rather than wood. She poured on the presser, springing forward, smashing all four hooves into it. The creatures collapsed to pieces, City 6 flying every which direction. One of the Timberwolves snapped back at Charlie, its jaws closing around air as she flipped sideways over the strike. Landing neatly onto her host, she lashed out with a kick to sent the wolf tumbling to the remaining two. A rapid staccato lyre notes followed between the trees. A flurry of sound, lances smashing into the tree triangled Timberwolves. Lyra's sonic assault splintered the wolves to bits, leaving the bit forest quiet as the last notes faded. Guess I can't complain about that ringing of yours after all, Charlie. Trixie grinned. That looks like clockwork. Now, let's catch back up with this. Ah! The remains of the Timberwolves were pulling themselves together, moving towards one giant mass of plant matter. Bring up more! Raindrops shouted, stomping on the sticks that moved, striking the players. Kill them, pull themselves together! Carrot Top looked behind her again, breathing becoming more heavier from the exertion. 5 remaining Timberwolves were still on their tail. Frustrating that they didn't seem to be tiring now. Annoyingly so, neither of their copies. Or just running along like this was some game. The Everfree was beginning to thin. She had to be getting close to the trap line at this point. A stab of panic followed that realization. Nuna, she thought, I didn't have Applejack. I don't know where the traps actually are. Carrot Top! Applejack shouted, bursting forward under the brush, following a step behind her. We need to slow down. It'll be hard enough to see the traps as is. Got a lot of it now, Carrot Top asked, asking into apple farmer's bulgy saddlebags. Because without one, I don't see it making much of a difference. Yeah, I'll bring it in if your doubles can run into some interference. 9. Carrot Top turned to her clothes. Destruct them! She started pointing to the Timberwolves. Following their magical programming of glee, copies turned and bounced towards the Timberwolves, ricocheting around like a bunch of rubber balls, The monster snapped and chased into obvious sources of movement. Applejack quickly slid her foul bags out, following a lantern and some matches. Two farmers moved quickly, Carrot Top adding some oil to the lantern, and Applejack quickly lighting up. Carrot Top glanced back at the Timberwolves as they continued to snap at the clones. Well, I wouldn't give for a small army right now, she muttered, snatching at the lantern in her teeth and motioning for Applejack to lead the way. With Carrot Top holding out the lantern, Applejack gave a sharp whistle to the copies. Come on, you ponies on dice! We're moving out! Another round of howls seemed to return to the chase. As the Timberwolves tore after the combined group of ponies and clones, Applejack turned, leaning the group to a parallel to the edge of the Everfree. Jump! She shouted as she drew close to a pair of buried logs. Carrot Top kicked off, stealing over the logs. A loud crunch rang out moments later. A few splinters rained down on her. Ha! Applejack beamed at her handiwork. Look at that, you varmints! With a snarl, one of the wolves pounced, bowling the mirror over. Hesitating, Carrot Top swung the lantern, smashing it down on Timberwolf's back. Fire erupted across its form, barely snapping and crackling as the wolves howled in rage. Rolling upright, Applejack glanced out with a buck. The wolf was barely missing by Carrot Top's head, clawing with the snout of the wolf that was trying to jump her behind. Another came in on Applejack's left side, Carrot Top kicking out with her own strike. Water splashed on her back. The clone popping as it was attacked or tried to block the strike. She couldn't tell which. Their credits rang out. The wolf falling to pieces and annoyed with Applejack's powerful kicks. The next few moments resulted in a chaotic tangle of motion for Carrot Top. Timberwolves darted in as she and Applejack fought back, lancing out with their hooves, headbutting, fighting tooth and nail to survive. Through the chaos, a howl rang out. Applejack and Carrot Top spun around, lancing out with a buck at the same time. The two sets of hooves hit home, last wolf shattering to pieces from the strike. Panting, the two ponies looked at their surroundings, then at each other. No more wolves. The one copy left standing next to them with a goofy grin. A smile crept across Carrot Top's muscle. A gesture that was mimicked by Applejack as he drew a hoof over Carrot Top's whiskers. Before either one could stop themselves, they were laughing in relief as the stress of the situation drained away. Applejack, let's never get chased by Timberwolves again, okay? I think I could rule that, Applejack smiled back. But what are you going to do with your last double there? I don't know yet. Carrot Top shrugged. Didn't realize we lost that many. Well, that's great, but it's confusion. Applejack blinked to her rubber chin. I know I heard a pop. She trailed off. It's looking past Carrot Top. Full of letters. Turning so forward, she tackled Carrot Top, pitching both giants at a slope. As a pair of woolly sloths sounding to the ground right where Carrot Top had been sitting a moment ago. On her back, Carrot Top found herself nose to nose with an embarrassed-looking Applejack. Sorry about that, she apologized. Tackling herself, but a snarl rang out from the top of the slope. Both farmers were looking up at the truly massive timberwolf that now glared down at the pair of them, jaws wet with wire. Say, Carrot Top smiled nervously as she took a few steps back. Remember that bit about never being chased by timberwolves again? I do, Applejack nodded, taking a few steps back herself. I think we'll have to live up to that promise later. I'll agree. 1, 2, 3. 3! Applejack shouted. As the giant timberwolf threw himself forward, throwing himself to the right, while Carrot Top dove to the left. His jaws closed in around the air, panting the forest floor. When it looked up again, Carrot Top and Applejack were already running for all they were worth. Are you sure about that thing, Pinky? Puppy Pierce asked. Nightmare raced at the party pony's creation. It was not much more than an oversized slingshot, cobbled together from Luna knew what. Was that a rubber chicken for the band? As she had sent it to the ground, with a little away from the bonfire that cracked and popped near the edge of the Everfree. Puggy's bonfire was at the center of the line, maintained by himself, Irish Scrolls, and Silver Squint. The three had been surprised when Pinkie Pie and Berry Punch had appeared out of the darkness a few moments ago. Uh-huh, Pinkie nodded, bouncing her heels. I got the idea of talking to Berry. Puggy looked at Ponyville's registered bartender, who was stacking a series of small casks, rags stuffed into their spouts, next to Pinkie's slingshot. Mare had a wide smile on her muzzle as she worked. It's almost had him worried. So, Betty, what's in the casks? Ivory asked with a raised eyebrow. Brandy, she responded simply, her grin spreading all the while. Cheap brandy that I got tricked into buying a few years back. So consider this a charitable donation to the critters of Everfree. Huh? It's 80% alcohol. Whoever made this stuff added industrial alcohol to the mist, so it's practically undrinkable. Besides, he can stare at Pokey's continuous stare. It's flammable, Pokey. Since I don't want to go close to any wolfies, I mean, this leaves out scraplet and party supplies. That would explain the buried chicken. You're right, Rare grinned. And fire. Pokey opened his mouth to argue, and the sound of crashing branches reached their ears. Quickly grabbing one of the burning logs, he had to do with magic, trying to defend Pony from whatever came to the forest. He immediately regretted the bravado when mother of all Timberwolves crashed through the trees, chasing after the forms of Carrot Top and Applejack. Penny then! What's that? Booze! Ivory barked, jabbing a hoof towards the monster, stretching his slingshot back. Pinky took aim at the giant wooden creature. Tongue stuck out concentration. Sperry loaded the cask of brandy. Pokey lighting the rag fuse. Pinky toppled backwards as he let go. The small cask sailed through the air. The small barrel crashed against the side of the Timberwolf's head, exploding into a rolling gout of flame that washed across its side. Howling away, it plotted the flames, the targets of its chase forgotten. Another barrel of brandy was loaded and lit. Pinky aiming slightly lower this time and firing again. Flipping end over end, the barrel shattered against the breast of the creature. Fire licking higher and brighter as more fuel was added. Roaring, the Timberwolf charged the bonfire, aiming to destroy the source of its pain, even as it took its flanks in desperate attempt to put the flames out. Burning branches and twigs were sent flying, dropping from the sky like a burning rain. Hit it again! Carrot Top shouted, seeing Applejack dodging the hail of flaming sticks as they ran onwards. As he grinned, as Pinky grinned as Barry threw another cast of the slingshot. With another light from Pokey, it flew straight and true, hitting right between the Timberwolf's eyes. It crashed to the ground, clawing at its head, before turning and lumbering back towards the forest. Her chicken slingshot snapped once more. The last of Barry cast striking him from behind. Roaring in anger, the Timberwolf sped up, fleeing back to the Everfree. Glow of fire, growing distant, then disappearing completely. The scene was quiet save for a crackle and pop of fire. Well, that was fun, Pinky quipped. It's for cookings! I am Pinky! She gave a happy sigh as she walked out through the streets of Ponyville. Thoroughly pleased the last night of Sandy was behind them. The only injury had been Rainbow Dash, who would make a complete recovery from what she had heard, and the unexpected side effect of solving the copy problem at the same time. She sent off a letter to Princess Luna, asking if she knew anything about this mirror pool. She suspected that her mentor would get back to her at her own convenience, but the initial problem dealt with. The door of the Sugar Cube corner cracked open. Dizzy Doo trying out with a bag stuffed nearly to bursting with muffins, balanced on her back. Morning, Trixie! She nodded. You're in good spirits. Just glad that everything worked out. She nodded, mostly at Trixie's parcel. What's with all the muffins? Oh, Dizzy smiled. He only wanted to take another crack at the nature hike with a real Carrot Top this time. Since it's the weekend, I thought I'd take along and bring muffins. She tilted her head slightly, fixing her one good eye on Trixie. Any plans for the weekend? Well, until I hear back from Luna about the mirror pool, I'm going to hook up with Lyra and Twilight. We're going to do some more research on the thing. Work out some of the more what I could do before I broke down. Not a bad idea, Dizzy nodded. I ain't curious about it myself. I'm just glad that the doubles are gone. We can investigate right now. Anyway, I should probably get moved. A dramatic scream reached their ears. Down the street, both ponies turned to face the hoof. Help! 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 Trixie stared as all Carrot Tops ran down the street of Ponyville, grinning like fools, repeating the same word over again. Ponies broke scattered as they trampled everything before them, leaving destruction in their wake. I think we might need to cancel our plans, Trixie told Ditsy, as dozens of Carrot Tops bore down upon them.